Reading with your children. So important for their development and for the connection that you can create with them. But like anything in life, well, some days story time or reading activities can be a bit of a challenge. How to know what books to choose, what's a good technique, what's the good approach, how do you keep it interesting? So if you could use some suggestions of how to improve or perhaps modify your family reading activities, well, today I have a great workshop to tell you about. Hello again, my name is Ed Humphrey and welcome to About Townshippers. Now in each of these web episodes, we put the spotlight on the community services, events and activities that make a difference in the lives of English speakers living throughout the eastern townships of Quebec. Now whether you've been a townshipper all your life or whether you've just arrived in what we like to consider as being one of the most beautiful and welcoming parts of the province, well, this series has something for you. As we all know, reading plays an enormous role in our lives. It's an important factor in early childhood development. And when parents read with their children, well, it helps children develop not only their creativity, but also their learning skills. And it can also strengthen that important bond between parent and child. So discovering new ideas and techniques for reading activities can really keep that experience, well, fresh and inspiring for everyone involved. So with that in mind, on September 26th, Heather Davis will be presenting The Art of Reading Together. This is a workshop that lays out the importance of reading with your children and how you can make the best of reading and story time in your own homes. Now, she recently stopped by to give us a bit of a preview of the activity, and here it is. Well, good afternoon, Heather. Good to see you today.
It's good to see you too.
I'm kind of curious, The Art of Reading Together. How did you get involved in this workshop?
I received a message at Bishop's University where I teach some courses including children's literature. And I got a message from Michelle at Townshippers saying that they were interested in offering parents a workshop on how to read picture books to their children. And they thought I might be a good person to do that. And I immediately agreed and said it was just the workshop I've been waiting to give. So.
Well, it's often a question of timing, right?
That's true. I'm actually pretty busy teaching these days, but it's definitely something I enjoy talking about. So I'm happy to do that.
So what can parents expect from this workshop?
I think at its essence, I'm kind of teaching parents how to play with their children and how to play with their children and a book at the same time. How to use a book just sort of as the beginning of a conversation, but to show them that they can go further than just what is actually on the page, and just, literally reading the book from beginning to end, that there are a lot of little side roads you could travel off on that would be interesting to explore with kids, and that kids also will enjoy that experience and that time with the parent, and have a chance to explore language and thinking and creativity.
Now, the title is The Art of Reading Together. Now, do you think that this is becoming a lost art?
I think that our time spent, together reading with our kids, I think that it's a bit threatened by things like the amount of video available, YouTube and Netflix. So we can see a lot of movies very easily at home. And often we kind of wait for there to be a power outage or something before we reach for a book. So yes, I think depending on the household, I think it can be something not that common anymore.
So then in your opinion that the digital age has kind of affected the amount or the amount of time we spend reading to our kids or with our kids, or the way we approach it then?
Yeah, I do know parents, who make a point of having this special time to read every day with their kids, and they still do that. But with the digital age, I think a lot of us find ourselves on different social media or surfing the net for much longer than we meant to do it. So it tends to be sort of an addictive activity. And sometimes we forget to stop and go do other things that fulfill us in more ways.
Well, I certainly understand that point of view because during the COVID, I mean, the old YouTube black hole, it's it's a real thing. It really it really
Yeah.
is.
I
Now,
haven't been there.
now you teach children's literature at Bishops and at the Université de Sherbrooke. Now, do you think there is any prevalent myth around reading to children that is really strong, still really strong today?
I think one of the myths might be that it's maybe not that important, or that you don't have to read to your kids if they're watching videos or, playing sort of educational apps on an iPad or something. And I really do think it's a myth, because I think a parent and a child could have a together experience playing an app or doing something else. But I think there's almost like an overstimulation that happens with a lot of digital material. So it's been proven that kids learn best when they're feeling safe, they're feeling comfortable, and they're with somebody that they care about, who cares about them. So the physical act of being together with a book, it offers the child a chance to really open up to learning and to be receptive to it. And even I think it's quite special because sometimes kids and their parents will find a certain phrase in a book that speaks to them, and it's like it allows them to express some feelings that they've had but that they don't really know how to say, and so they can just refer to the book or say that line from the book, and then it explains the whole thing. So they kind of create a shared understanding and a shared language.
So over and above the literature side of things, there's that human connection maybe that is kind of often underestimated, or the quality of that time is it can be underestimated.
I think that's exactly it. So the quality of the time spent looking at a book together is quite different. It's a different quality.
Which is both good for the reader and for the readee.
The readee, yes, I love that.
Heather, what would you say to people that may be on the fence about taking part in the workshop?
Well, I think I try to imagine if somebody's sort of on the fence, then they might be wondering if it's worth investing their time, or if they might come to the workshop and then find it not interesting. But like I mentioned, I think it's really about being playful. So I think that there are ways to interact with books with children that make the experience not boring for the children, but also not boring for the adults. So I understand that there are some books that children ask to be read over and over again. And I actually did hide my copy of Green Eggs and Ham so that my daughter wouldn't ask me anymore at some point. But there are different ways to make the experience like more dynamic, and so the workshop will really be about exploring this, not about me telling sort of one right way to read a book to your children, but exploring the fact that there might be more possibilities that you haven't thought of to make it a fun experience.
Great. And how can parents register for the workshop? And is there a cutoff date or a time for that?
They can register through Townshippers. So Michelle, her email is ml@townshippers.org. And the deadline is the Wednesday before the workshop, so September 23rd. If you send her an email by that date, then hopefully there will be room. But I know we are limiting it to about 10 participants.
Okay, now this is a Zoom workshop, is it not?
So this will take place over Zoom.
Okay.
And we'll see in the future if we can do it again sometime in person.
Okay. Well, Heather Davis, you teach children's literature at Bishop's University and at l'Université de Sherbrooke, and you'll also be facilitating this upcoming workshop called The Art of Reading Together. And as you just mentioned, it's on September 26th, and it's from 10 to 12. Am I right? Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, and we'll shoot this out into the universe and hopefully get those seats filled up for this upcoming workshop.
That's great. I would love that. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye.
The Art of Reading Together, a workshop and activity for parents who want to get the most out of their reading activities with their children. It'll be facilitated by Heather Davis and will be held on Saturday, September 26th from 10 o'clock to noon. But places are limited, so please reserve by Friday, September 25th. And you can reserve by sending an email to ml@townshippers.org. If you've enjoyed this clip, well, please click on the like and on the share buttons, and you can follow us on both Facebook and on YouTube. My name is Ed Humphrey. Thanks a lot for being there with us today, and we're going to be back real soon with a brand new episode of About Townshippers. See you then.